Hey guys, Kevin Goetz here from Mute Prophet, and welcome to another installment of Songwriting Masterclass. So, last time we completed an intro, which was basically a motif between a repeating piano melody, some choir chords, and a guitar riff. Play just the tail end of that, it kind of went into this super minor, chromatic, eerie thing that sounded like this. Yeah, and if you're interested in hearing how we got to this point, check out the previous video. But now we're going to try to bring this intro into a verse. Now, my instinct is to give us a slightly differing rhythm. Let's go down to 2/4, and let's have just the choir come over into a tied note, but everything else drops out. Something like that. We can work out the particulates later, but let's go ahead and get started on this this verse. The first thing I want to do, I feel like I don't want to have the guitars playing just yet. I feel like I want choir and drums. So, percussion track, and let's think about that for a second. Obviously, I have to switch back to 4/4. So this is going to be a nice, simple verse. I want 16th notes, and my starting point is going to be to place a closed hi-hat every start of the 16th note group. So, and I think I'm hearing something like this. Let's put the kick over here. And I'm feeling really a lack of melody, so I'm going to go ahead and start on that choir. And we can work out the rest of the drum groove once I've got a choir in my head. I think I want this to be whole notes. There we go. That looks closest to a D sus2, or an A sus4 over D. What I'm doing, by the way there, guys, if you hit A while mousing over a chord, or while you've got a chord selected, sorry, it gives you the percentages that this particular chord works with other chords, and the highest match is usually what the chord is. Let's see, I want to play with the inversions. Yeah, make that a tied note. And as you can see, that makes it an A sharp over D. And that gives me incentive to add in the next part of the drum groove. Oops. Oops. No, I know what I want. Let's leave that blank. Yeah. Cool. And I think I want to tie this. And then in the 4th bar, let's have the choir go up a little bit higher. I like droning that D, so I think I'm going to keep that going. What if we add this? Cool. Gotta finish the drum groove next. Oops. And I think I want kind of a fill at the end here. Not a full fill, just like a slight little change up since we're hitting the end of this 4-bar group. So maybe open hi-hat at the end. Yeah, I like that. So altogether, the first 4 bars sound like this. Now, the obvious question you might be wondering is, what about vocals? And my answer is, I don't like to start on the vocal melody until I'm sure that I am not going to want to do anything else with the chords. So I like to lay everything out first, because I've had this happen before where I wrote up a full vocal melody, and then I decided I could do something really interesting with the chords, but then it clashed with the vocal melody, and I was sad. Now, I know I want these first 2 bars of the second chunk of the verse to be the same, sort of, but I think that on this second part, if we make this a dotted half note, which for those who don't know is a half note and a quarter note, which leaves us one more quarter note. It's got those properties. Yeah, alright, so something weird's about to happen. I can tell that this just needs to have something a little off to be good. I know I want to do that. For the record, guys, a lot of these open D notes, that O, is going to be tied, but for the sake of writing it, the problem with this program is if you play a tied note on just the measure where the tied note is, as opposed to carrying it over from the previous one, it doesn't play it. So I'm writing the chords in full, but these bass notes that I'm kind of droning are probably going to be tied once I actually program this into a synth. Maybe... yeah. Ooh, guys, this rhythm, this last bar of the verse should be in 3/4, and we can have a tied half, or a tied half note, and just a quarter note of kind of a resolving chord, maybe something like D minor add 11. Now I got to figure out what to do with the drums on these 2 bars where it changes. Yeah, let's give it kind of a rushed feel at the end here, and that'll transition interestingly into the 3/4. I'm thinking this should be an open hi-hat. No, I know how I want this. Alright. So we're going to skip this note here, and let's give it kind of a little gallop. Kick, snare, kick, snare. And then we can land on a tom hit of some sort, and a cymbal. And that'll land perfectly back into one more repeat of that previous verse. So all together. I like it, and now we can bring in the vocal melody. And this is the hardest part to explain my process on. This is the most subjective thing that, yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more subjective than this, really. I like to use the oboe. I feel like it cuts through the mix pretty well, and you can hear it clearly. Okay, so now we explain what's so damn hard about this. I do not have lyrics in my head. I do, however, and this is something all songwriters should do, sit down with your singer, figure out their vocal range, memorize it, and correlate it to notes on Tuck's guitar. So in my head I know where both of my singers respectively have their strongest range for each given set of emotion, and I think a good starting note, I think Lauren's going to sing this part, would be here. Question is, does this work with the chord? Yeah, it should. Choir goes up, so I want to take a counterpoint approach and go down. What I like to do is play it back constantly to make sure it meshes well. Cool. So we drop down a minor third there. Let's tie this and add a tied half note as well. For the sake of etiquette, this should actually be half note. I don't know why I chose to tie that. It's fine to have a gap there. That gap kind of builds the anticipation. So we skipped down from 6 to 3. So let's play the note in the scale that we skipped, which is that 5. Yeah. Let's dance back up to 6 and back down to 5. That works nicely with the drum groove. Now we start over here. So let's play that pattern again. This is called a motif. At least that's what I call it, where you're slightly altering an established melody, but kind of sticking with the formula. You're not going all over the place. You kind of think of the certain note groups as home base, and you try not to stray too far from that. That's just what works for me. I almost want to go up a half step here. Not for too long, or it could sound a little dissonant. Skip down to the 6, go up to 8. And if we make this a whole note and then do a tied half note here, I think that rhythmically would work right into the 3/4. So let's listen to that all together. I'm happy with it. I want to repeat this one more time, because it always works better to do things in pairs. And I want to change up the fill here and lead into a really grabbing, epic chorus. Whoops, that's the guitar, not the drums. Yeah, okay, I like that. And I think the vocals should actually start the line of the chorus on this 3/4. So we want 3 notes, and I kind of want to have a harmony here. One descending and one kind of counterpointed. That's kind of dramatic to go up the 4th from the previous note. No. Yeah. And for the harmony, so we've got a harmony of a 5th here. Looks like a major 3rd and a minor 3rd. Together, it sounds like this. I don't like that choir. That no longer works. Oh, I see. There we go. Cool. That's gonna hit really hard, I can tell. I almost want to keep working on this, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do the chorus now, since I'm already kind of feeling like I'm in the flow, and I am gonna record it. However, I'm going to end this segment here, so when it gets to YouTube, this will be it for this particular video. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to discuss anything I've said in this video, you could leave a note in the comments. If you want to help me out at all, you could like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and you can also click the annotations to watch some other videos I've done. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter at MuteProfitBand, and if you're in the mood to listen to some music, check out muteprofit.bandcamp.com. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya!